The death toll of human losses is still increasing due to the heavy airstrikes that targeted the area of Tel Mardik in the eastern countryside of Idlib, where it rose to at least 22. The number of fighters who were killed in airstrikes by warplanes believed to be Russian on a headquarter of Al-Sham Corps in Tel Mardik near Sarakeb, and the death toll is expected to be increased because of the presence of severely injured people in serious conditions, and reliable sources asserted to the SOR that tens of fighters are still missing under the rubble caused by the destruction of headquarters of the Corps. On the other hand, violent clashes are taking place between the regime forces and their allied militiamen against fighters of Hayat Tahrir al-Sham and the rebel and Islamic factions in the areas in the far northeastern countryside of Hama, where the clashes are concentrated in the vicinity of the village of Haratan after the regime forces managed to advance and control the village of Qubaybat al-Hudo, following a new offensive launched by the regime forces on Saturday afternoon, the 23rd of September 2017, while the warplanes carried out heavy airstrikes in conjunction with heavy shelling by the regime forces on the clash areas and the areas the regime forces trying to control, and there is confirmed information about human losses as a result of these clashes, and the regime forces shelled areas in the village of Hamdania in the northeastern countryside of Hama, that was accompanied by the shelling of warplanes on areas in the village of Akshan and the northeastern countryside of Hama. The warplanes also renewed their shelling on areas in the outskirts of the village of Sarja in Jabal al-Zawiya, while Al-Sham Corps targeted with Grad missiles areas in the town of Al-Sakaliya and the town of Asila in the western countryside of Hama, which is under the control of the regime forces, causing material damage, while warplanes carried out several airstrikes on places in the village of Al-Dalak in Al-Sathiyat area in the southeastern countryside of Hama. And Syrian Observatory for Human Rights published yesterday that the numbers of casualties have increased in the ranks of the Islamic movement of Tahrir al-Sham as a result of the missiles shelling and Russian raids on Jabal al-Zawiya in the southern countryside of Idlib, where the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights documented the death of 5 fighters at least, while others were injured as a result of the fall of missiles believed to be ballistic. In addition to 15 raids by warplanes targeted about 15 headquarters of Tahrir al-Sham in Sarja area and its surroundings in Jabal al-Zawiya, and the death toll is expected to rise because there are some people in critical situation. And Syrian Observatory for Human Rights published hours ago that a child was killed and others were injured in missile shelling from the Russian warships on Salt Factory area in the agriculture land Zinka Forsajna town in the southern countryside of Idlib, and the activists of the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights monitored that a child was killed and his body was burned in a missile shelling launched from Russian warship, and the SORA monitored that warplanes carried out heavy airstrikes on the same area and other areas in Sarja town and Altamnai town in the southern countryside of Idlib, while the warplanes carried out 2 airstrikes on areas in Khan Safri town and Zawiya mountain, and 4 airstrikes were launched on areas in the outskirts of Sarakeb town in the eastern countryside of Idlib, and several airstrikes were launched on areas in the vicinity of Khan Shaykhun city in the southern countryside of Idlib, amid 5 warplanes are flying in the sky of the province.